Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our September 13th City Council meeting. Could you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, if I could ask the clerk to please call the roll.
Councilman Gary Donovan,
Councilman Gary Donovan, Councilman at Large, present.
Councilwoman Colleen O'Connor,
Councilwoman Colleen O'Connor, Council at Large here.
Councilwoman Bridget Hosky,
Present.
Councilman William X. Conlon,
Councilman William X. Conlon, 2nd District, present.
Councilwoman Elizabeth Johnston is absent. Councilman Mitchell Galignano,
Councilman Mitchell Galignano, 4th District, is here.
Councilwoman Robin Hamilton,
Councilwoman Robin Hamilton, 5th District, present.
Councilman Peter Massaro,
Councilman Peter Massaro, 6th District, present.
Councilwoman Trinae McGee is absent. Councilwoman Crystal Finelli,
Councilwoman Crystal Finelli, 8th District, present.
Councilman Robert Bruno,
Councilman Robert Bruno, 9th District, present.
Councilman Barry Lee Cohen,
Councilman Barry Lee Cohen, 10th District, present.
and Chairman Ronald Tagliani.
Councilman Ron Quagliani, Council at Large, present. Thank you, Stacy. We have a quorum this evening. So it is 6:55. We do have a Finance Committee public hearing on the issuance of $6,747,695 in bonds plus additional financing costs. I'll turn that public hearing over to the Finance Chair, Councilwoman Hosky.
Thank you, Chairman Quagliani. Our public hearing is now in session at 6:56. Present are Councilwoman Robin Hamilton, Councilman Massaro, Councilman Bruno, and Councilman Cohen, and myself acting as chair. We have ordinance authorizing the issuance of $6,747,695 bonds plus additional financing costs. Is there anyone from the public that would like to make comment? For a second time, would anyone from the public like to make comment? Would you like to make comment on the bonding? It's more in public hearing.
Are the public allowed to go up and speak?
On the
Okay,
bonding, right now, we're on the bonding ordinance, and then after we close that committee, we'll go to public session.
For the third and final time, would anyone from the public like to make comment on the public hearing? Public hearing is closed at 6:57.
Thank you, Councilwoman Hosky. We will stand in recess until 7 p.m. We can actually sit in recess if we want to. Okay, it's 7 o'clock, and for the record, Councilwoman Johnston is here, and Councilwoman McGee is also here. We'll enter into public comment. If anybody would like to address the council, we ask you to raise your hand, be recognized, give your name and address for the record. There's a one-time speaking rule, and as a reminder, individual employees cannot be discussed without their prior notice. Is there anyone from the public that would like to address the city council? For a second time, is there anyone from the public that would like to address the city council? Looks like Mr. Frazalon.
Good evening, Chairman Quagliani,
Good evening.
and the rest of the council. My name is Paul M. Frozalone. I'm here on behalf of the West Hampton American Club, 85 Chase Lane. I've been president for the last 13-plus years. The reason why I'm here this evening is in regards of the way you sell your tax lien. And I know you can't ask me back, but there's going to be questions I'm going to ask you to go look, do your due diligence and check for yourselves. Do any of you know the criteria of tax liens? Probably not how the formula is, maybe Chief does. Right before COVID, when we got shut down, we owed, the IA Club owed a little under $5,000. End of June comes by, your body here sells our tax lien to a third party. I get all this paperwork, getting charged interest, getting charged all this other stuff. I call the tax office, and Leslie answered, and she says, well, everyone's tax liens went out for lien. They did not. There's homeowners that never went to taxes. There's businesses that never were sold. There's other clubs in West Haven that the taxes weren't sold. So I was a little hot. I talked to a couple of council people, asked some questions. I had a meeting June 5th with Mayor Nancy Rossi, Louis Bezito, tax collector Leslie, and the assessor. And this is after they sold our tax line. So now what happens is now we owed around $5,000 out of our $39,000. So the first half we owed is $19,000. So our taxes for the IA Club are $39,684. So out of the first half of $17,000, we only owed around $5,000, and you guys sold the tax lien. So, which is fine, I guess there's protocol. But my thing is, when I asked Leslie where everyone's tax lien sold that was delinquent, and she answers, yes. And I says, are you sure? Because I'm gonna FOI all this stuff, and when I find out that they weren't sold, I'm gonna make a big stink about it. And she says, well, we have a formula. Now, is it her formula or your formula? Does she give you people a list of delinquent taxpayers? Do you know how much they owe? Do you know if there's other delinquent taxpayers? I mean, this is not just for me, it's just a process. I think we should open up the process and look at things as a whole. So after that meeting, which lasted maybe 25 minutes, I paid off the tax lien. And at that meeting, I think we were down to $33,000, but then July 1st comes. So then it jumped back up. But in the meantime, the last 2 months, we've paid $10,000 each. We've been making payments every month. I understand there's no payment plan with the city of West Haven, which I understand. But this is what blew my mind. And I don't even know if you council people even know about this. Everybody has a health license in the city of West Haven, received this letter. It's a renewal of your health license. So on the very bottom, it says, I don't wear my glasses, but it says, if taxes aren't paid in full, there's delinquent taxes, failure to result in suspension of your food license. Now, this got to be done by October 1st. There's no way that, we're going to pay another $10,000 this month on our taxes, and we're going to be in that $20,000 range that we're still going to owe, but there's no way that we're going to have our taxes paid for October 1st. Now, we didn't close our doors. The city health department and the state health department and national health department shut us down. We had to give thousands of dollars back for deposits because people booked their places in advance, even if the party was 2 years forward. Everyone's worried. They don't know what was going on. So we had to give thousands of dollars back. The only two bills we got behind, city taxes and the UI. I mean, you need the UI for your alarm system and the fire system and all that stuff. So I've been piecemealing all of our, I'm writing out more checks than ever before because, I'm trying to spread it out and pay the taxes and pay our UI. But it's just, this blew my mind when I read this. Now, October 1st, it says your license will be suspended. So how many other restaurants or clubs that have health license are going to fall under this and they're going to get shut down by our city health department? Now, I don't know if this was drafted just from them or you guys had insight on this. I mean, I would love, if I could leave this with you, Ron, and then somebody get me a copy back.
Sure. Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely, yeah. If you want to give it to Councilwoman Hamilton when you're done, that'd be fine.
Yeah. So that's what I'm concerned about. So we paid the tax lien off, and right before I talked to, had the meeting with the mayor on June 5th, all of a sudden I start getting all these emails and these phone calls from the lien company I forget what state it's from. Well, our tax lien was never released by the city. So I called Leslie, and she says, you never paid your tax off. I says, Leslie, I FedExed it, so I had a tracking number. I confirmed that it was paid. And I talked to her personally. And I was cutting Eddie Granfield's lawn when I took the time out to talk to her. And she says, okay, I'll take care of it. Well, 2 months later, I'm getting all these phone calls from this company, and they're starting to charge us interest again. So she said, Mr. Froslow, if you want to blame this on me, you can blame it on me. And I said, no, where did the ball get dropped? It's not, if it was you, fine. I didn't want to, throw stones. So when we had the meeting with the mayor and Louis, she actually said that she admitted that it was her mistake. But I still was getting emails from this company a month later. And I go down and talk to Phil at the tax office, which is, you don't get in and out talking to Phil. But I go and I'll pay my taxes. Every month they wait for me, and the last day. And he looked up on the computer, and it was still on there that it was paid, but it wasn't totally released. So I just more concerned about what is the formula. Do you guys know the formula? Did you guys know there were still other businesses that owed back taxes when you guys signed off on that tax lien a year ago, June? And then one other thing is, so when Ronnie puts that gavel down, when you sell the tax lien, so say I owe $5,000. The year comes around to the next June, I owe $1,000. You know what they do is, they automatically, without your permission, put interest and renew, the next cycle. So if I owe $1,000 in July. January comes, they already put that $19,000 in January on a new tax lien without your permission. Okay? So Leslie says that under the state statute, it automatically rolls in to the $4,000 we owed, the other $19,000, which to me, I disagree. I think when you ladies and gentlemen sit down and you say, okay, Mr. Froslone, he owes $10,000 in taxes. That is the only amount that tax lien could be sold until you guys approve, I owe another $10,000. She automatically assumed, put the next cycle, January cycle, into that tax lien. So I'm not, everyone comes in circumstances, and I know you guys, some of the townspeople I talk to, they say, we don't look at the individuals. We look at the packet. Well, I don't know. I think we should start with the tax office, find out what her criteria is, find out what the formula is. So, and you can say, Leslie, is this everybody that owes back taxes? Is this citywide? Is this every business? Every homeowner is on this list when we sell these tax liens? Because it wasn't, okay? There's still people that owe back taxes that never got sold, that owed more money than the $5,000 we owed. So since I started this a year ago, I hired Joseph Sanzone. It's a auditing firm, accountant firm. They have an office in Hartford, but they're out in, I think, Minnesota or something. So the taxes at the IA Club was $39,600 twice a year. Nonprofit, pretty much only open Thursdays for bingo, and Friday, Saturday, Sundays for rentals. So I hired this company, and they appealed our taxes at the IA Club. And I recommend this to every business that has the opportunity to do it. So my taxes went from $39,684 a year after the appeal and everything, $27,074. So that's $8,000 savings on our behalf. If I didn't have this problem with the tax office, I would never even hire this company. They get a percentage of what you save over a 5-year period. They've been around for 60 years or 50 years. That's what they do, all municipal tax appeals. But I don't know if you guys all knew this, or if I'm giving you a new light on the substance of, how you guys approve the tax liens. I think we should look into it, come up with a formula, because I asked Leslie, I wanted a packet for abatement of interest, because once the COVID release was over, we got hit with it. I don't know, over $6,000 worth of interest or something like that. It was a high number of interest. And she says, we only do abatement of interest for homeowners, which to me, and I asked the mayor was there, I says, does anybody have proof of that? Louis, Leslie, and Nancy, the mayor says, no, we don't know. We only, as long as she's been on the council in all the meetings that we used to go to, when she first started, it was only homeowners. So nobody gave me a concrete answer if we were able to appeal taxes as a nonprofit entity. So that's another avenue I'd like to look into, because nobody said, Paul, it's a state statute that you can't, it's only for homeowners. We're a 501c7, so that's why we pay property tax. That's my concern. For those of you that are in a primary tomorrow, like myself and Colleen, I wish you best of luck and, keep on doing a great job. West Haven has some good candidates on every faction running for tomorrow, and hopefully the voters will pick the right people to move us forward. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Frozzalone, for your comments. I will ask the Chair of the Finance Committee, Councilwoman Hosky, to look into these items for you. Is there anyone else from this city, does anyone else like to address the City Council? For a second time, anyone like to address the City Council? For a third time, anyone like to address Mrs. Krasinski?
Okay, my name is Margaret A. Krasinski from Allentown in West Haven. I'm looking at the bonding item. Oh, what about the money that we got from the government, which is about $29 million? Where's that money going to? I'm certain some of the money could be spent on these items instead of us having to bond. I see police vehicles, I see public works vehicles. I see some items as far as Bailey School, Washington School, other things. Do we have to bond for all of this? This is like $20 million, $547, and $695. That's a big item. You know, we're getting a lot of money from the government. Can it cover some of these items here? Why do we have to bond? There's still a lot of things not accomplished yet in our city as far as economics. I don't see anything over there in First Avenue with the Havens. Allentown, well, we have Mr. Beckerman and his development. And I understand, I was told, as far as Cellini Place, Mr. Beckerman is going to put in more student in the first floor of that development facing Cellini Place. No businesses are going in there. And I'm a little pissed because the students are using up the parking on Cellini Place. Citizens like myself that live in Allentown, I would like to visit the Green, but if the students are taking up the parking on Cellini Place, that doesn't leave me with any parking available. They could park behind the development there because they own the parking behind the firehouse and behind that development. I get annoyed when I have to go through there and come up Cellini Place and it's all student parking. Yet UNH does not own the street, Cellini Place. We, the citizens of Allentown, it belongs to us. We take care of it. Even though I see UNH doing the Green. UNH doesn't own Allentown. The school is there, yes, the school is there. It gives us a break as far as tuition. I understand there may be another building going up UNH with more parking off-street and more buying of houses in Allentown. Well, I'm not going anywhere, so my house is not available. Unfortunately, for a school, has a tiny little playground. It needs more development for the people in the area there. And I'd like to see it expanded. The one down the beach, oh, that gets all the recognition, not the one in Allentown. People forget about us. We're like nowhere to be seen. Many, many years ago on Plainfield Avenue, there was land. That land was supposed to be a garden, a community garden. It never developed into garden. And people didn't want any development as far as housing. And that, I think Mayor Borer designated it. It's not maintained, it looks horrible. And I hope never does anybody get any idea of trying to develop that into housing. Because it is the street facing Plainfield Avenue, it's horrible, overgrown, it looks disgusting. And as far as cars coming off of Route 34, they drive very fast, it's terrible. I wish something would be done to stop it somehow, to prevent them from coming in fast over Route 34. Now, it was publicized that certain people got extra money because of the pandemic. You know, I think that's horrible. If I had to work extra, I did it because it was my duty. I wouldn't be looking for extra money. I would be helping out the constituents of the city plus my coworkers. It was a horrible experience. I know because I have members of my family who are working at home also. And they're not being compensated by their company. They're not getting extra money for the increase in the Wi-Fi and their telephone use of taking care of the clients for the company they are working for. They're lucky they have a job, they didn't lose their job, and they're taking care of their families. That's my report on that. The city has taken a great deal of responsibility on yourself, but you have to look at it two ways. People lost their jobs, they're gonna lose their rents, and their services from the federal government because it's getting out of hand. There are jobs out there now, they're looking for workers. They are looking for workers. I see that in what I see on the TV and listening to the reports. There's no need for that extra money that was given out. I'm sorry, that's my opinion. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Krasinski, for your comments. Is there anyone else from the public that would like to address the city council for a second time? Anyone from the public like to address the city council for a third time? Anyone from the public? Mayor Rossi. Yes, please. If you don't mind.
I want to make sure everyone can hear me. Okay. I do want to talk about this, what was just brought up. I want to be very clear, and I'm going to do my best to be very clear. The employees that were paid are frontline workers. They were reassigned to COVID duties, and they worked, instead of a 35-hour work week, they worked, some of them 60, some of them 70. So yes, they got paid. There were no bonuses ever, not even talked about. It was pay for work done. These were COVID times. A lot of people had to be reassigned because there were other duties now to be done, whether it be vaccination clinics, whether it be feeding the hungry because they didn't get their unemployment checks yet and had nowhere to go and didn't have food to eat. We partnered with Vertical Church, and anyone can check with Vertical Church because they will state that that is true. For months. This was not for 1 week or 1 day. This went on for over a year. We did our best to keep people safe. And you know what someone said to me? They go, "You did your job. You know how?" I want to knock wood and say, no one died in City Hall. That is the goal, was to keep our employees and our residents safe. And we did everything within our power to do it. And honestly, unless somebody can prove differently, this was not a one-time deal. I mean, you have to understand, the police received money overtime, frontline workers. Firefighters, overtime, frontline workers. ERS, overtime, frontline workers. I can go on the full list. Health Department, overtime, frontline workers. I know that, people are looking at it that this was extra, that it wasn't extra. It's as simple as you work, you get paid. Everyone's talking that the people are salaried. No, they're not. They have a salary and a line item, okay, that is approved by the city council. But they also follow the 1103 union contract. That's where they get their benefits from. So this was not anything illegal. It was not anything to harm people. In fact, I feel bad for the frontline workers that left their families, endangered their families in some way because they could bring COVID home. And then, you get articles that make it sound like they did something wrong. They did nothing wrong. And I think it's very unfair to blame them for doing a job that they didn't have to do because they were reassigned. They were put in harm's way. And all of them, and we have the best employees in City Hall because not one of them gave pushback. Anything they were asked to do, they did. Without qualm, they wanted to help. They wanted to help and save people and keep them safe, whether it be a vaccination, whether it be feeding them, whatever it may be. So I wanted to clear the record. I wanted to make sure that everyone understood. And if you have any questions, you all have my email. Most of you have, I think, my phone number. Please reach out because I'd be more than happy to discuss this further. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor, for your comments. Is there anyone else from the public that would like to address the city council for a second time? Anyone from the public like to address the city council for a third and final time? Anyone from the public like to address the city council? Seeing no hands raised, public comment is now closed. We will enter into our regular city council meeting. The first order of business is the approval of the minutes of August 23rd, 2021. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Councilman Galignano, is there a second?
Second.
Second, Councilman Bruno. Is there any discussion? Seeing no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Any abstentions? Councilwoman Finelli, one abstention for her. Motion carries by majority. We have no communications tonight to pass out, so we'll enter into committee meetings. First committee is the Finance Committee. Councilwoman Hosky.
The time is now 7:24 and your Committee on Finance is in session. Present are Councilwoman Hamilton, Councilman Massaro, Councilman Bruno, Councilman Cohen, and myself acting as chair. We have before us the ordinance authorizing the issuance of $6,747,695 in bonds plus additional financing costs. I'd like to bring this out favorably. Thank you, Councilman Massaro. Have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Councilwoman Hamilton. Is there any discussion? All those in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? Oh, motion carries. Sorry, I got stuff. So the committee, the Committee on Finance is closed at 7:27.
Thank you, Councilwoman Hosky. Unfinished business, there is none. The council will now resume as a whole for committee reports, and we'll go to the Finance Committee, Councilwoman Hosky.
To the Honorable City Council of the City of West Haven, your Committee on Finance, to whom was referred the matter of an ordinance authorizing the issuance of $6,747,695 bonds plus additional financing costs of the city to meet certain 2021-2022 capital budget appropriations and pending the issuance thereof, the making of temporary borrowing for such purpose. Reports that the committee met on the 13th day of September 2021 to consider said matter. It is the unanimous opinion of the committee that the following motion be presented. Second reading approval resolved. The City Council of the City of West Haven hereby approves the following bond ordinance. Proposed bond ordinance provides for the following: approval of capital project bonds in a maximum amount of $6,747,695 plus cost of issuance to finance certain capital projects approved in the 2021-2022 capital budgets of the city in accordance with the requirements of Chapter 109 of the Connecticut General Statutes, authorizes the mayor, the finance director, and the treasurer of the bond committee to sell the capital project bonds in a competitive or negotiated offering. Authorizes bonds to be issued pursuant to the terms of the city trust indenture. It's really hard to breathe and do this mask. Okay, authorizes bond committee to issue bond anticipation notes for the short-term financing prior to the issuance of the bonds. Authorizes the bond committee to take all necessary actions in connection with the capital project bonds, including actions relating to the tax-exempt nature of the bonds, the reimbursement of prior city capital expenditures, and those needed to satisfy the post-issuance disclosure obligations. Authorizes the mayor, the finance director, and other duly authorized city officials to apply for grants for the capital projects.
Councilwoman Hosky has brought forward Communication J from the 8/23/21 agenda from Mayor Nancy R. Rossi in regards to the issuance of $6,747,695 worth of bonds plus additional financing costs. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Galignano. Is there any discussion on this? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed? Are there any abstentions? Motion carries unanimously.
That's all.
Thank you, Councilwoman Hosky. Adoption of ordinances previously presented, there are none. Council liaison reports, don't see any hands at this point. New business, does the council have any new business to share? Seeing none, motion to adjourn? Second? Second. We're adjourned. Thank you very much.